Hello everyone, my name is Florent Farge and welcome for this new video. Today we are going to talk about how to paint straight lines with a brush. First of all, you might be wondering what's so special about drawing straight lines and why does it deserve a special video? Well, it's not that simple because a brush, by definition, is not intended to draw straight lines. If you use a pen or a marker, it's going to provide you much better straight lines because no matter the pressure, the line is always going to have the same width. But a brush, on the contrary, is designed so that when you press lightly, the width of the stroke is going to be very small, very thin, and when you press hard, it's going to create a much larger mark. So right now we are focusing on only using brushes and how we can make that into a painting. Let's just say that many painters do not think that painting straight lines is relevant at all, and that it's better if it feels very freehandish, if it's very organic. And if it's your case, that's perfectly fine, so please go on and do what you will. Many painters avoid things that are too straight and go for a more organic, more natural feeling, but sometimes, well, you might have to, I don't know, paint some architecture, paint something, and well, you need a straight line. So first of all, let's talk about the best brushes that you can use to paint a straight line. The best brush is a very sharp, flat brush. The best, I think, in my opinion, are synthetic brushes because they are like very sharp and the bristles are really straight. They are cut by a machine, so basically they are the straightest, sharpest flats that you can find. So you want to use them sideways. It's very important. You don't want to press at an angle, but really use them sideways, and they are going to drag the paint along and make the line very even. And because they are so sharp, because they are synthetic hair, they are going to make the line appear very sharp. The other option is to use a small round brush, but they do not work that well. Basically, these brushes for most paintings are much better because they give you more control over pressure, but for sharp, straight lines, they are not technically better, but they are better if you need to trace curves. Now, the best technique if you really need to trace something very sharp is to use masking tape. So you're gonna place some masking tape on your painting. Your painting has to be dry if you want to do that, otherwise it's not going to work. So you have to wait for it to dry. You place the masking tape, you make sure that there are no air bubbles under the masking tape, make sure that everything is well covered, and then you can take basically any brush and just broadly brush away to get the desired sharpness. As you can see, when I remove the masking tape, the line is very sharp and you can get the width that you desire, and this makes the lines very, very sharp. Another good trick you can use is you can take a ruler and protect it with masking tape to make sure that you don't put paint all over the place, and then you can use any type of brush and use the ruler to make the lines very straight. One thing you can find in a hardware store that can help you trace lines is a laser level. It's very handy. It's going to give you a line on your surface, a very straight line that you can just follow, and it's going to guide you. It's really good if you need to trace some geometric patterns, if you have to follow some perspective, and but it has to be used freehand, or you can use it in combination with other tools. So if you find this in your hardware store, why not give it a try? And finally, let's have a look at 3 mistakes to avoid when painting straight lines. So the first mistake to avoid is to have paint that's too stiff, because even with a good brush, it's not going to be very easy to lay down. What you want is a fluid motion, but if the paint is too stiff, it's going to create tiny bumps along your line. Another mistake you want to avoid is to have a big bubble of paint on your brush. So when you start to trace your line and you go back to your palette to pick some more paint, make sure that you don't have a brush that's too full of paint, because if this bubble forms at the tip of your brush, it's going to create a big ball of paint, and it's going to ruin the width of your line. And the third thing that you have to avoid is to avoid to make the paint too fluid, because the more fluid the paint, the easier it is to apply, but also it's also going to make it very transparent, and at some point you will lose some of the intensity. So to conclude this episode, if you want to trace a very straight, very sharp line, the best trick to use is the masking tape. That's about it. Remember that you don't have to be very sharp on all your lines, and you can let them be more organic, especially for a painting. It works much better if lines are not too geometric. So enjoy painting them freehand every once in a while, but sometimes you need something a little bit sharper, a little bit straight, and I hope that this video helped. As always, if you want to learn more about oil painting, you can check out my oil painting course. The link is in the description below. And I see you for the next video. Until then, have fun painting. Bye.